You're listening to Get.Out.N.Drive.Podcast with John, custom car nerd Meyer, and Shawn, Mr. Sedan Man Sherrill. We'll be bringing you gearheads all the information you never wanted to know about cars and why they should be on the road and not in your garage. Are you ready to get out and drive?
And we're back with another episode of Get.Out.N.Drive.Podcast. I am Shawn, Mr. Sedan Man Sherrill.
I am John, custom car nerd Meyer. You can see on our screen, we have today with us Brian Scanlon.
Yes.
He is the owner of Chicago Bluesmobile.
Very cool.
Yep.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Thank you for having me.
So yeah, movie cars. Everybody loves movie cars.
I do like movie cars. What is your favorite movie car, Shawn?
My favorite movie car, no secret to anybody, I don't think, that's listened to the podcast before.
Right.
Two-lane blacktop 55 Chevy.
Definitely like that car.
Yeah, I love that car.
Yes.
Yep.
My favorite, right here in front of us, Eleanor from the first Gone in 60 Seconds movie.
Yellow?
You might have probably thought it was gray.
Yeah, I mean, everybody thinks Eleanor is gray.
Eleanor is not gray. The fake Eleanor is gray.
Yeah.
The real Eleanor, everybody look it up, hashtag Eleanors Yellow. Real Eleanor is the one car, one movie, one time, one use, beat the hell out of it. That car is a movie car.
Yeah. I think a lot of people don't realize that the Gone in 60 Seconds, the popular one, is an actual remake.
Yes.
Of what year was that?
I think it's 2005.
No, the original one.
Oh, the original was 1973,
1973.
74.
Yeah. Ish, early mid 70s.
Yep, very much so. And this car is a mix of 71, 72, 73 Mustangs to make it look like the newest car, because he could, H.B. Halicki, he could buy a beat-up Mustang and put brand new parts on it, and it would look like a brand new car. Right. And all the cars he smashed looked new, at the time.
And
the tight budget.
A very tight budget film. Yeah.
And you seem to be kind of on a mission from God to let everybody know that the original Eleanor was yellow.
I am on a mission from God. Yes, very much so. And that ties into our Chicago Bluesmobile today. Mr. Scanlon, what is your favorite movie car? If it's the Bluesmobile, you got to tell us, or maybe a different one.
Well, my favorite movie car is indeed the Bluesmobile. Second to that would be Milner's 32 Coupe from American Graffiti.
Yeah, I definitely like that.
Another yellow car.
Shawn's just not a fan of yellow cars. Yeah, I don't know why. I think a yellow car maybe ran over him in a previous life.
Maybe.
I don't know. He's just not a fan of yellow cars. Oh, man. Chicago Bluesmobile. Brian, excellent vehicle you have there. I've certainly followed it for quite a long time on Instagram. Certainly tell us where you came from and what car you started with and how you got here.
So I started with the project. I purchased a 1976 Dodge Royal Monaco from northern Illinois, close to the Wisconsin border. The gentleman that owned it was a 2-owner car. Very well taken care of. It was your typical granny car, only driven on Sundays. I believe I bought it with 66,000 original miles.
Wow. Nice car.
Yeah, very nice car. It was, it took a lot to pull the trigger on the conversion because it was so nice.
It's such a nice car to tear it up, make it a horrible looking Bluesmobile.
Yes, absolutely. So I've been searching on and off for years for a Bluesmobile, sure. And it was never the right time or the right circumstances. It's kind of hard to justify bringing a car home when you just got married or you just had a child and your wife is there like, we need diapers. So, I kind of just sat on the sidelines and bid my time. And finally, 4 years ago, a Craigslist ad came up and it was in the same state. It was clean looking. And I went up to go see the car and bought it on the spot.
Now, you've said Royal Monaco is the hideaway covered headlights and the whole grill and everything's different.
Yes.
And obviously the Bluesmobile is a standard Monaco in the movie 74. What'd you do to change that? Because I know I followed that along. Kind of explain to our listeners what you did, because it was pretty intense. I remember.
It was. It's because everything on the front end looks different between a Royal Monaco and a Bluesmobile. So once I got the car home, I put a list of parts together that I needed. Obviously, I needed, headlight bezels, different grille, different header panel. And once I got my list together, I started searching for parts. And that was the hardest thing is finding good parts for a 74, 75 Dodge Monaco.
Okay.
Fortunately, through eBay and through a bunch of different companies that have NOS websites, I found a lot of parts very easily. The grill, the bezels, the header panel fell in my lap almost instantaneously.
Sure.
The elusive parts were the front fenders because they're completely different. And they're also very expensive for true base model Monacos. Okay. And I couldn't justify the expense because they wanted $800 for a pair of fenders that were pretty much Swiss cheese.
That's because everybody's building Dirty Harry replica cars, right? And
yeah. They're all all these Bluesmobile guys out there. They've got a network, so they're. Sure. The parts are definitely in demand.
Run over Bluesmobile hoarders.
Yes, there you go.
Oh wait, yeah, there we go. Movie car niche people.
Yep.
Yes. That is where the demand for the parts come from.
Do I remember you carved the front fender extensions out of flour foam? Is that correct?
I did. I purchased the green styrofoam that you use for flower displays. Okay. And once I took the Royal Monaco front end off, I put the header panel on. I put approximately where the headlights were going, the grill, and visually carved out the pieces. Made sure they looked legitimate. Up to this point, surprisingly, I've never saw a 74 Monaco in real life. I went off of. I went off of movie stills and all the pictures I could find from the internet. And I got pretty close. Yeah. And then once I had the floral foam carved out, I experimented with fiberglass and made the molds for the fiberglass, and that's what's on the car till to this day. Is still
that is a hot rodder building something from nothing.
Yep.
A person with a direction and not a monster amount of wealth in your pocket. You built something from nothing, and kudos.
Yep.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it was a very cool learning experience because I did have to get creative.
You have a background in auto body or anything at all, or are you just a guy with enough tools to be dangerous?
There you go.
Okay.
Point number
2. I bow to you. That's a great thing, yes. Man. That is awesome.
Determination is a good thing.
Determination is an awesome thing.
Find a way to do it.
That is.
And I was determined to do the whole build myself. Mm-hmm. So everything done on the car, with the exception of the dual exhaust, I've done in-house.
Dude,
cool.
That is incredible. So, biggest question in my mind. Why do you care? Why the Bluesmobile?
Well, why do I care? The Bluesmobile, well, and even more than the Bluesmobile itself is the Blues Brothers. I love the Blues Brothers from a young age. The first time I saw the movie, seeing the Bluesmobile drive past Joliet prison on its way to pick up Jake just left an impression on me that I couldn't shake. Right. And I love the characters. I love the movies of Belushi and Aykroyd. Right. And it was always a natural. It was the movie I always kept coming back to as my favorite. Growing up in the 80s, exposed to a ton of movie cars, TV cars, General Lee,
Right.
A-Team, Back to the Future, DeLorean, Ghostbusters Ecto-1.
Sure.
But for me, it always came back to the Bluesmobile, and I think that's just, rooted in the first impression I had as a kid and the love I have for that movie.
Man, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's what we've always said. I mean, you never know where that trigger is going to come from.
No.
For anybody, that their love of cars, and it's always fun to listen to where people get that
Right.
that inspiration from. The initial. I mean, come at a young age, it can come at a later age.
Right.
But
yeah, that's where our hashtag What Drives You comes from. I need to know why you care, why you want to know about the Bluesmobile, what made you go towards that vehicle, what made you go towards cars at all. So we'll talk about that a little later.
Yeah.
Sure.
So Blues Brothers, any favorite parts in the movie that stand out to you that?
Well, obviously, the mall scene is one of my favorites. It's a toss-up between the mall scene and the ending of the movie as they're racing through downtown Chicago. And I guess if I would have to pick an absolute favorite scene of the movie, it's when they're racing in Lower Wacker Drive, and they're going traveling the up ramp to Upper Wacker Drive, and the squad car pulls in front of them to block them, and they make the jump and clip the lights on the squad car, and once they land, they actually look at each other like they can't even believe they pulled it off. And through the whole movie, Aykroyd and Belushi play it straight. They don't acknowledge any of the insanity around them. They're just in the middle of it.
Right.
And that's the only scene in the movie where they actually said, wow, we got away with something.
I remember it very clearly. My wife and the rest of my family, we were up in Chicago for a candy show. We own a catering company, and we were up there for a candy trade show, and we're driving along. And my wife says, "What are you doing?" And I went, and she goes, "What are you doing?" And I said, "This must be Lower Wacker Drive." And we're driving through underneath, and we come out of the top. And then she goes, "What? And I said, "This is the exact spot right here that they jumped over the police car that you just explained." She said, "What is wrong with you?"
Yeah, well, I've done it many times. It was very hard in the beginning once I completed the Bluesmobile to not drive around downtown Chicago like Elwood.
Right.
I had to really control myself.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And
because sometimes you get in a car and the car will kind of tell you how it wants to be driven.
Yes.
And you feel different and you
Yep.
drive it different.
Yep.
I mean, and real car guys will understand what I'm talking about.
Right. You drive a Cadillac low and slow.
Right.
You drive a nose high, gasser style car, like a madman.
Yeah.
And it's certainly something that's cool. I've seen a lot of your pictures on social media and looked all over your website. You do an incredible job of going to what landmarks are still left. We'll have to pour out some Coca-Cola later for not having Ray's Music Exchange building still there. That was a sad day this year.
It was.
And that was kind of terrible. But to go to the bridge and to go to, Pilgrim Baptist, and to go all the different places you went around, and to take the pictures, man, that you take are incredible. To go to Old Joliet Prison and to take those pictures and to drive across, in Daley Plaza and to actually get the Bluesmobile. And we talk about it a lot. People are different people when they put on a different mask.
Yes.
And I could see that you would be have a different mask and have a different ability for people and communities in the city to say yes. You know, you don't pull up in a brand new Honda and say, hey, can I drive across Daley Plaza? But if you pull up and talk to the right people, I don't know what you got involved in the logistics of it, but, you know, they move the pylons and let you drive across.
You're in the Bluesmobile.
And you're in the Bluesmobile. And you get to drive across Daley Plaza. That gives you a different opening line to city officials and other people. Is that true for you? What cool stuff have you done with Bluesmobile?
It does. I look at the Bluesmobile. To me, it is a key to Chicago, essentially.
Right.
You can do no wrong. You can go to places most people never see or venture into or don't know about.
Right.
For example, Daley Plaza. They over the last 20 years, Daley Plaza has become more fortified, if you will, around the main plaza. They have cement benches and cement planters specifically to keep cars off of the plaza.
Right.
And it was really a lot of work trying to get that done in this day and age. I had to reach out to my alderman, who reached out to the alderman downtown, who got me in contact with the then director of the Chicago Filming Commission.
Okay.
And then
so there's a lot of hoops.
There's a lot of hoops. Yeah.
Okay.
And Daley Plaza is not run by the county; it's run by a private firm.
Oh wow!
So we had to actually get their permission. And I tell you, that was one of the most exciting days. Just waiting there for the guy to come out and remove the pylons to let me in. And I was amazed to find out that their manual, you know, the guy has to lift it up and twist it out of the ground and set it to the side. I'm like, I thought this was more like Bond, where the pylons just go down into the ground and you're free to go.
So was this welcome with, was your inquiry welcome with open arms, or were people kind of blocking you, or they just go, sweet, Bluesmobile's going to be here, come on in?
It was absolutely sweet. The Bluesmobile's here. Let's do this.
Right.
This is so cool.
Nice.
No hesitation, no resistance. It was just like, you know, this is pretty cool. Yeah. He came asking, let's make this happen for him.
Man, that's fantastic. Good. So many of your pictures, your sunset pictures, sunset, sunrise, whatever you want to say, probably sunrise pictures at the Joliet jail. You know, that is creepy to me to see your car there, you know, and it looks real. It looks like it's the real deal. Go ahead.
It does. And that's an interesting fact, because that is actually sunset. Okay. So the way the prison gate faces, it faces to the east, sunsets in the west. So when they pick up Joliet Jake, it's supposed to be morning.
Correct.
But it's actually at sunset.
That was why I jumbled up and kind of tripped over my words, you know, because I'm that much of a geek that I know where the thing is placed and where the sun is and all that garbage as you do, and it's kind of creepy. How many times, and I'm going to ask this question because I'm right here and I'm ready to talk to Brian. Yeah. How many times have people asked you or talked to you about and said that Mount Prospect cars are not black and white, that the movie, that's a little Hollywood twist, and those are CHP cars and only the CHP cars are black and white? I see you shaking your head.
Not many people realize that at all. They think that Mount Prospect had black and white livery at 74.
Right.
And I don't think they switched to black and white until like 76 or 77.
It was much later in the 70s in my geekdom. So I, you know, and I like seeing.
Yeah, I'm looking at John and I can just see on his face, how do people not know that?
But who didn't have a chance to ask Brian about this, you know? Yeah. And people are like, shut up, John, stay over in the corner. And that's incredible. As I read more and more about the movie, I see that, you know, the state patrol cars have the correct livery, and the Chicago downtown police cars have the correct on there, you know, and I like all that stuff about that. it's interesting to me to talk to you about that and see what people have asked you. So have you had crazy fans that have come up to you and kind of been a little invasive? Tell us about that.
I've had quite a few crazy fans. I've had instances. A lot of the pictures I take are either early in the morning or late at night to avoid traffic, and a lot of passerbys, if you will. But there's certain times, even 5 o'clock in the morning, there's other people out there on their way to work or doing whatever, coming home from a night out.
Sure.
And I've had people jump in the car. If I left the doors unlocked, there's people that would jump right into the passenger seat.
Somebody just jump in the car when you're in there by yourself, and they jump in the car and just for a photo op?
For a photo op, and just to say that they were sitting in the Bluesmobile.
Right.
Wow. Huh.
I've had a lot of people, if I'm stopped at a red light, they'll hurry up and jump on the trunk, sit on it for a picture without asking. It's really weird.
That's crazy.
If someone came up to me and said, "Hey, can you pull over? Can I get a picture?" I'd absolutely do it. Some people don't think so and just take it upon themselves to get your shot.
Wow. We've talked to other people with movie cars, and they have the same kind of stories, that people become pretty invasive, and they think that it's not a real thing, or that it may not be Brian's car or whatever. It's not a real thing. It's a movie prop, and I'm going to jump on this thing.
Yeah, I guess they see it as a movie prop and not as somebody's personal property.
Wow.
I don't know. That's weird.
That's kind of invasive. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your car,
but for the most part, they're well-intentioned, and they mean no harm. So it's after the initial scare factor of someone sitting next to you that you weren't expecting. It's like, okay, well, we're cool. Let me pull over. We'll get you some shots, and we'll both go on about our days.
Wow. Crazy.
Yeah.
So your car is recognized as the official Bluesmobile of Chicago by the Blues Brothers Approved Ventures.
Yes. We signed a deal this year. For me to become the official Bluesmobile of Chicago. They caught onto my Instagram very early on. They liked what I was doing, how I was keeping the spirit of the Blues Brothers alive. And, especially this year with the 40th anniversary of the movie, they saw an opportunity. Let's partner up, and, we'll have some fun this year. And unfortunately, the pandemic came through, all events were canceled this year for the most part. But we still have the partnership. The deal is that I continue being able to take my car to events. I can advertise it as the official Bluesmobile. If Dan or Jim come to Chicago, they get to use the car, so it's a win-win for everybody.
Wow, wow, that's fantastic. Talk to me about comedians and cars getting coffee.
Comedians and cars getting coffee. That was the first time I was approached to go on a TV show / internet show. And with my Chicago skepticism, I'm like, no, you're kidding me. You're not a producer. You just want to, what are you trying to sell me here? And it turned out the lady, very nice lady, Jill, she was indeed the producer. And she said every season when they start production, Jerry Seinfeld will come with a list of cars that he wants to be featured on the car or on the show, and gives it to his producers and says, find them. And on the list was a Bluesmobile.
Really?
And fortunately for me, due to my social media presence and my blog, whenever you Google in Bluesmobile, I'm usually in the top 5 results.
You're heavy on the front page, brother.
You're up there. I'm heavy on the front page. And on a side note, that gets kind of frustrating for me because sometimes I go looking for images of the movie car and all I'm seeing are images of mine. I'm like, no, I don't want this one.
I would like to find the Bluesmobile, not Brian's Bluesmobile.
Yes, there you go. So yeah, after a couple of phone calls, it turned out she was the real producer, and I'm like, okay, let's do this. Yeah. And they sent the truck to pick it up and brought it all the way to LA, which I thought was mind-boggling. And I'm like, LA, you can't find a Bluesmobile in LA?
Yeah. Right.
I guess mine was what he was specifically looking for. And so I'm very thankful for that.
Yeah, Seth Rogen and Jerry Seinfeld. He was driving that car around. They went to Arby's, right?
They went to Arby's for the finale. They ate Arby's in the car, and that was pretty cool. But the one thing I didn't expect was in the beginning, they dumpster. They tossed the car into a dumpster. And totally caught me off guard because, after filming, the producer will call you up and say, okay, well, the car was great. We did have an issue. We replaced a wheel bearing. It broke. Okay, great. Jerry signed a D on the back gas tank door where the missing D is as part of a comedy bit. Do you want that painted over? Don't leave it. I want that. Sure. But they never mentioned the dumpster.
Yeah. I was surprised to see that, and I was surprised in the social media about you said that. Everything was fine until they crashed into the dumpster, and then no one told me. And you had to see it when you saw the show on first airing.
Yeah,
and
that was quite a surprise.
Just like the rest of us, we all went.
It was my wife and my son and myself, and we're watching it. We're getting all excited, and then you see the crash, and we just look at each other like, did this just happen?
Yes, they crashed my car into a dumpster. So on there, they do not say Blues Brothers. They do not say the word Bluesmobile as a licensing issue.
That is my only guess. That's why, because I know he specifically wanted the Bluesmobile.
Right. I was surprised because, they're specifically getting the Bluesmobile. And if you're driving a DeLorean that has lights all over it, your viewers are going to know that it's a Back to the Future DeLorean. You're certainly going to look at it, and you'd have to be blind to not realize that is the Bluesmobile, if not a replica or a close replica. They didn't say the word, hey, we went out and found a Bluesmobile.
No. Seth Rogen said it real quick. Oh, it looks like the Bluesmobile. Okay. And Seinfeld's, kind of like it. And that's where they left it. And I think it was either legal didn't clear it or
must have been
whatever happened.
Something kind of weird.
Yeah.
You have any car collections or anything other than Bluesmobile or any cool stuff?
Well, I seem to collect Monacos.
I saw you've been through a couple and said you were going to build another one. That one disappeared.
And they fall through because someone else sees the car and says, this has been my dream. I want to, build one. Will you sell me the car? Mm-hmm. Yes.
So you're an unconverted Bluesmobile dealer?
Yep. Muscle cars obviously have always been a passion of mine. I love mid 60s to mid 70s muscle cars, Cutlasses, GTOs, Mustangs, obviously, just everything. I'm a car guy through and through. There's not really a type that I don't like. Mm-hmm. The odder, the better.
Sure.
I really love AMC products.
Okay.
Very niche vehicles, if you will. I like those a lot. Unfortunately, I don't have a collection.
Sure.
Maybe someday.
Right.
My son's coming up to driving age, so let's see what we can get him into.
So he'll get an Illinois State Patrol car, and he can just chase you around.
Yes, I think he'll like that more than just driving around in the Bluesmobile.
Yes, definitely.
Would be pretty cool.
Definitely. Are you doing anything? We have a segment called What Drives Youth. And are you doing anything to get younger generation involved that may not have seen the movie first run or don't know about the Bluesmobile? Is the Chicago Bluesmobile.com? Are you guys doing anything to kind of get other kids involved?
Not on a grand scale. It's every appearance I make, though. I do make a point of talking to as many kids as I can, because most of them 9-10 years old, right when they're impressionable about cars, they'll go to a car show, and their immediate reaction is, "Oh, cool, an old police car."
Okay.
And I'm like, "Yeah, but it's much more than that." And so I take them through the car, I let them sit in there, I let them experience touching the 8-track player, touching the spotlight, teaching them about the movie a little bit. And it always jogs a parent's memory. "Oh yeah, that was a great movie. We'll have to see that when you get a little bit older." I'm like, "Come on, it's 40 years. You can let them see it now. There's nothing too bad in there."
Right. That's fantastic. Of all the different locations and things that you've taken photos at, what is, without going on forever, what is generally still there and what's not? Because I know the gas station was a temporary set only.
Correct. That was a temporary set. The foundation is still present.
Okay.
You can still find it. There's obviously Joliet Prison still there. Ray's Music Exchange was there until this year. Pilgrim Baptist Church, which was the Triple Rock in the movie, is still there. The buildings that formed the entranceway into the orphanage are still there.
Okay.
They're blocked off. You can't actually drive down the street anymore, but the main buildings from the opening shot are there.
Okay.
Apartment.
The building that was Shea Paul, that's there, but you said it's the wrong way.
No, it's actually it's the right way. Oh, the street is
the way they park is the wrong. It's heading the wrong direction.
Correct. In the movie, they do a spin and turn the car where the nose is facing south, and it's a one-way street going north.
Okay, because I know everybody, they park, and I remember seeing the street, and it's everybody's parked the wrong way of, obviously, Hollywood. Thanks, Hollywood, but it's parked the wrong way in the movie.
And they did the same thing with Mrs. Torrentino's house in Cicero, Illinois.
Okay.
It is a one-way street going in the opposite direction as they show in the movie.
I see.
So unfortunately, all the pictures I get of those two locations, I'm facing the wrong way.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh,
and only very avid fans would notice that, probably.
Yes. As we deep dive into the movie, The Blues Brothers.
Yeah.
Other than that, real quickly, the South Shore Country Club is still there, which was the Palace Hotel Ballroom. The Nazi Bridge is still present. That's right behind the Museum of Science and Industry in Jackson Park. And earlier this year, I found the bridge that they parked underneath at the end of the movie as they were escaping from the girlfriend.
Where the speaker falls off the roof?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's in Lincoln Park.
Okay.
So it's been highly updated since the movie, but that is the exact location. So that was a pretty cool find.
Is anything on the site of Dixie Mall now or no?
No, it's an empty field.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, that is the one location I wish I could have gone to, and they tore it down a couple of years before I actually built mine.
Right. Right. That was crazy. Excellent. I don't know. Man, I have thousands of questions. I don't even know what to ask anymore. I'll let Shawn talk for a minute, maybe. Shawn's here with us,
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Shawn.
I'm just listening to you guys babble on about the movie and cars parked the wrong way. And
you have seen the Blues Brothers,
I
right?
have seen it a couple of times.
Right.
I didn't memorize it.
There will be a quiz later.
Yeah. I probably will not pass it with the question that you asked, where the car is parked in the right direction. But yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Yes, if only I could remember these types of things when I was on high school, writing out my report for Lord of the Flies.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't remember what I did yesterday, but I know which way they parked.
Yeah.
Yes, this is true.
So I guess I'll have to go back and watch this movie again and pay more attention to things than
That is true.
than I guess I ever have before.
Life goes by too quick. You have to pay attention. Yes.
Well, it's actually an interesting side note because, as I mentioned earlier, I watched the movie since I was a little kid. I watched it at least once or twice a year growing up. And then as I was building the Bluesmobile, I watched it every single night as reference to make sure what I was doing is where I wanted it to go. And that's when I started noticing all the little details. Right. It's amazing just how good Aykroyd and Belushi were in this movie. Right. Not a lot of real dialogue on their part, but just their facial expressions, their body language. It's just a fantastic movie.
Right.
So it's just, you keep learning. The more you see it, the more you find.
Yes. Shawn is just keeps shaking his head at me. He said, "What have you dragged me in, man? What have you dragged me into? Absolutely ridiculous."
That's so good.
Well, I've had a fun time talking with you, Brian.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure we'll have more things to talk about later.
Interesting, eye-opening. Yeah.
Well, that is awesome. Continue cruising around Chicago, taking the best pictures ever with the best thing I can see close to the real Bluesmobile.
Yeah, maybe one of these days we'll have to take a road trip up to Chicago. And,
we will.
See if we can talk Brian and let us go for a ride in a Bluesmobile.
Yes, definitely. Get out and drive in the Bluesmobile. That will be the most fantastic day ever.
Because we ain't that far away.
You have an open invitation.
That would be awesome.
That is fantastic. Well, thank you very much for hanging with us for a little bit, Brian, talking to us about Bluesmobile.
Thank you.
Enjoyed having you on.
Yep. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Hey, Brian, what drives you?
What drives me is keeping the spirit of the Blues Brothers and the Bluesmobile alive into the 21st century. This is a great movie, great vehicle, and I believe future generations should at least see it one time in their life.
Well, I certainly had a good time participating in the National Get.Out.N.Drive Day today, doing the Jeffco Power Tour.
Yeah, that was neat, man. Lots of cars.
Yep, lots of cars, lots of people get out and drive and participate in the day.
Yeah, if you have photos or videos of National Get.Out.N.Drive Day, make sure you send it to them. They can be found on social media at National Get.Out.N.Drive Day, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook. Make sure you hashtag National Get.Out.N.Drive Day.
Well, everybody likes trucks. I've got Saddle Tramp.
Oh, yeah.
Recently picked up another project. We're going to affectionately call General Crustard.
Yes, definitely.
So,
it's a square body, round eye C10 that I've got. We'll have a little build series on that hopefully soon.
Yep. And speaking of trucks, next episode we're going to be speaking with Robbie from United by Trucks.
Yeah.
They do a lot of cool stuff with truck guys.
Yep.
With trucks.
Yeah, big following on YouTube, big channel, United by Trucks.
Yep, so it would be real interesting listening to him and his stories.
Yeah, I can't wait to do that one. I am John, Custom Car Nerd in Meyer. You can follow me at Custom Car Nerd on Instagram.
And I'm Shawn, Mr. Sedan Man Sherrill. You can follow me on Instagram at Mr. Sedan Man. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Pandora, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Like, share, give us your comments. Tag us on Twitter at Get.Out.N.Drive.Pod.
What drives you?